Do you fear the light? Are you afraid of what you've seen? Are you afraid of what you can't see? Talk about it here tonight on World Ghost Radio. The paranormal, the spirits, the unexplainable. Call in now at 702-832-0364 with your host Rocky on World Ghost Radio.
Hey everyone, it's Rocky. I'm here right now live on World Ghost Radio, and it's been a great week. It's definitely been an interesting week. So we got our guest today, Marilyn Bass, and she's coming into the studio. Unfortunately, you can't see her, but if you go to Radio Vegas Rocks on YouTube, it'll show the whole area here over at the studio. And how have you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with the paranormal?
Okay. Well, I'm a psychic medium. I grew up in Texas. I started at a very young age at being able to see and hear and do things. So whenever I moved to Las Vegas, I decided I'm also an author. So I do paranormal fantasies, and I wanted to get into kind of like a paranormal group and just do investigations. Mm-hmm. So I joined a group here in Las Vegas, and that's actually what got me started on investigating.
Oh, okay.
So that was fun for me, and it did nothing as far as a paranormal for the romance stories. But hey, it got me in doing the paranormal for the investigations and helping people.
Yeah. So how long have you been investigating for?
For about 12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
That's a very, very long time.
It's been a while.
And if anyone has any questions for Mary Lynn, you could always ask me here on the live Facebook, and I will, I'll shoot them out to her, and she'll answer them for you. So it's been a long time. We've worked together before.
We have.
And done some investigations, and but my question is where are you going, like, as far as like right now? Like I see you doing like a lot of work with energy.
Yes, I do a lot of spiritual
energy.
work and helping. I do a lot of readings and chakra alignments. You've actually attended one of the
I
classes.
I did.
And so we're just doing that. I do that every other Saturday now. Mm-hmm. So, just doing a lot of energy work. I do house clearings and all that, and just also do space clearings, just because it doesn't have to be in a building. It can also be your yard. It can be outside, so I can do all that.
What really necessarily goes into like a house cleaning? Like, is it just on any occasion, or do you get called in because something's going on in the house, or?
It's usually because something's going on. Like last night, I was called over to a friend's house. She moved into the house about 4 years ago, and she was waking up with bruises. She felt like she was even pushed off the ladder at one point. And so I actually went in last night, kind of did just investigating, very small for me. It's just going in, feeling the energy in the room. And because I can also see portals, I can see just what's going on. I see the energies. I see people coming and going. And I can see events that's happened in the home.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to tell her what had happened there. And we're going to go back, and I'll go in and do the house clearing with her on Monday.
All right.
So it's not an emergency.
All right. What is an emergency? Have you had any type of like emergencies?
I have. It's to the point to where someone acts, they feel like they want to kill themselves.
Oh.
I've had those to where I've gone to help people, and it's actually just energies that are in the house, have to get them away and get them to a safe place and get them kind of settled down, and then go back and clear out the house.
man, that's
and that can get kind of dangerous. So that's where you use people who are into the demonic. They can, like yourself, aren't you a demonologist?
yeah. You know what? I don't want to discuss that live on there.
So
yes, I do. Yes, I do work in demonology.
yeah. So, but people who are aware of that, so you can see what's going on and just kind of know who's there. So I work with other demonologists as well.
Okay. Oh, okay. We got a question from Facebook. It is from Kim Russell, and she would like to know, how do you know when it's demonic?
For me, I feel the energy. Because I can see, hi Kim. So I can feel whenever it's dark, I see the energy. So like whenever I was working with other clients and I see the energies around. And for me, it's like a black ball, and it's almost like a storm brewing inside that energy. And that's how I can see when it's dark. And that's where I feel that. And it's almost like the hairs stand on end for me.
So it's like this black ball.
A black mass, yes. It can be the shape, but for me, the way I look at it, it can be any shape. It can be a square. But usually it's the shape of a person.
It's so insane because the last 3 shows, funny you should mention that, because I the first time I heard on my show, now I'm just going off my shows, right? I was talking to Keith Weldon. And when he was having a problem, he had a problem at his house for a little while. And his first thing he mentioned was he saw this black ball inside of his kitchen. And I guess it was the size of a volleyball, actually. That's pretty big. He's it was a little bit smaller than a basketball, but he said it was the size of a volleyball. And
yeah, it can start really small, and sometimes it starts really big. So, and a lot of times I'll see it as it's already the shape of a person or just a shape.
Right, and then he saw, of course, shapes at his house of the hatted man, this real tall guy with, I guess this hat brim on. Yeah, and then that was the first time, and then the second time I heard it was just last week with Jason Emmerich, I believe. I believe he discussed with the mirrors and stuff and things that were happening for him, and then of course he dabbles in some of the dark sides of the the paranormal. Shout out to Jason Emmerich, good dude, man. And so this is the third time I've heard actually about like this demonic black ball.
That's the energy.
Is it like a common, like when you're doing these house cleansing? Is it like a common effect, or how could I put it?
So I think the sphere is the easiest way to get into a shape. It's usually getting something round is easier, and just getting their energy into that shape is how they are able to manifest. So it starts out as the round, and then as they grow stronger, they can become other shapes.
Oh, okay. Hi, Debbie. How you doing tonight? Like I said, we're here live right now with Marilyn Bass. She works in energy work, and if you have any questions for her, the cameras are all around, man.
It's like that scene in the episode of South Park where Cartman's trying to sneak past everybody has their clothes on. Hi, bye.
How we going? That was Pulsar, everybody. That was Pulsar. He was the previous show.
So that wasn't the energy. That was really him.
It was a giant black ball that just came in here, took a bag and left. So he good dude, man. Great show. If you guys have a chance, visit Radio Vegas Rocks right before me, and he has a great show on. So, anyways, let's get back to the paranormal, and we're here. Like I said, if you guys have any questions for Marilyn, she's going to be here with me for the next hour. So, yeah, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. I've had experiences. I guess we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one later. But let's get back. Let's. So, what is the most scariest, dramatic, insane type of story, or I don't even like to call it a story. Situation that has happened.
So for me, it was actually with the person who had contacted the first group that I had joined, and to do because she kept having issues at her house. And so it got to the point where we did a few investigations there, and then I went back on my own with a couple of my friends, and we did an investigation, and we set up all the cameras and had everything. And she has these 2 mirrors, and she has one of them, and her mother-in-law has another one in Georgia. So this mirror is sitting at the end of the hallway, and I'm in the doorway, and I can see in the mirror, and it's a portal. And I could see trees, I can see everything on the other side looking through the other mirror. So I talked to Sharon about it, and she tells me that what I was describing was actually looking at her mother-in-law's living room, dining room, out the window to the trees. So I was able to see that. So I see this little, it looks like a little gnome. He goes running across and kept running across the mirror and actually came up to the mirror and jumped through. So he's using that as a portal, and I was standing by the stairs at this point. He rushes by and almost pushed me down the stairs. That was the most startled, afraid, the only time I've ever been afraid.
So the mirrors are, were they like...
They're portals to each other.
Yeah, my question is, what's the story behind the mirrors of how were they already like just synced like that?
They were 2 mirrors that they bought at an antique store. And she kept one in Georgia, and Sharon
were they
the
the same looking mirror?
They were exactly this. They were a pair.
Man.
So they were actually a matching pair of mirrors. And when she brought hers here, she brought the portal here with it.
Man.
So that was definitely. And Sharon told me that's the first time she's ever seen me afraid, and that's the only time it's ever happened.
Oh man.
From then on, I protect myself.
And let's get into that, because there's a lot of investigators I know for a fact, and they could deny it all they want. All they want. I know because I always ask, like I look at the last few shows, I've been on. I've always asked, well, how do you protect yourself? And responses I got is they don't have like a belief, or they did it like one time they went to church, or what do you feel is... That was weird.
You're hearing noises.
I'm all over here like, what was that? So
I'll protect you.
Thank you. I'm scared right now. Help me. So what do you think is the proper way for protection? Or do you feel there's a proper way, or?
Well, really, it just depends on the person and on how you want to do it. For me, because mine's all natural, I wasn't taught anything. So this is something that comes natural for me. So what I do is it's the intent. If you go in with the intent of that you are protected, nothing is going to harm you. And as I said, if you're thinking of other things as your circle, because I circle myself with a white light of protection. And my thing is nothing can come through that white light, only positive energy. So, and if it's something that I want to be able to, because I can open and close that energy as I need to, but I never open it because I don't want anything attached to me.
Right.
So for me, it's just keeping that protection around me and knowing that nothing is allowed to attach to me or to those in my group.
Do you notice when like something's starting to
Yes.
like attach to like someone else?
Yes, because I can see the energy as it's coming, and then I can also see the demeanor of the person and just the way they move, their actions, and just the looks on their face. I've even had it to where people's faces actually change.
Like the face,
the facial
change.
Features change. Their
Wow.
eyes have gotten bigger, things like that. So, and their eyes were closed at the time, and you can see these big eyes open. And it's almost like an overlay of the face on theirs.
Kind of like a filter.
Yes.
Kind of like one of those filters.
And I have seen
crazy.
that happen. So it's definitely interesting when that does.
Man, I don't even know what to say. We're here with Marilyn right now. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and shoot them to me on Facebook. They like talking to each other on my...
I'm seeing that. Yeah, I can't see it.
It was like, oh, hey, how's it going, guys? We're here on over here on World Ghost Radio. So they're over here. They're all chatting it up in there. That's cool. That's cool. So where did you learn as far as like energy work and crystals, and what inspired you to get into that?
Well, for me, just because I wanted to know why I have this gift. I want to know what's going on with it. What can I do to help? So what I've done is I read anything and everything that I can on crystals, and that's how I learn more about that. And anything that comes out, I do read. Not everything is true, and I go by what I feel. So say, instance, if you have a crystal that you have the book part of it saying that this is what it's for, but I also go by what they feel. For me, does it work? How does it feel for me? Because if I put a crystal in my hand, it vibrates. And I can feel that energy. You look like that was kind of weird.
No, keep going.
But it's the energy. It's like a tingling, and it's just something that whenever you just feel the energy, and that's it. It just got me interested in it because I started picking up the crystals and I started feeling that. So I wanted to read more on that. So that's how I just started learning it.
Okay. We have a question in the Facebook Live.
Okay.
The question is, what are your steps on cleaning residential cases?
Okay, so for me, I go in and I'll walk the house with the clients and just to kind of get a feel of their energy in the home. But then I like to go through by myself as well, so that way I can feel what's going on there without their influence. And then once we determine that it does need to have a cleansing, I go in, I use Palo Santo, I also use white sage, and then I will also use crystals if I need to. It just depends on how strong the energies are there.
What about salt? I guess
I
salt?
also use sea salt, and I use you can use pink Himalayan salt as
Pink
well.
Himalayan. I've heard of
And
pink Himalayan.
people
Can't
even
even say it right now. Pink Himalayan
spit
salt.
it out. So people even used table salt because it's just a matter.
Table salt.
Table salt. It's really all in the intent.
Does it matter? That's what my question would be. Does it matter if it's blessed or if it's?
It does not.
Some type of ceremonic.
It really depends on the religion
salt.
of the family. So if they feel like they need to have that blessed, then they can. But it's not really necessary for most people unless you just want it. It just depends on your beliefs because everybody has a different belief system.
Yeah. Have you ever? Here's a question. Have you ever encountered people of a different religion and they were kind of skeptical of your steps or ways of cleansing a house?
No, because once they bring me into the house, they already know who I am.
Oh, okay,
so I
that's
haven't
good.
had any issues on that.
Like, we're not going to let her in because I'm Catholic.
No,
My dad
no.
was Catholic.
I haven't had any. Well, now I've had people to the point of where, like, whenever I went through last night, the lady's roommate actually left because he didn't believe in what we were doing. So he just left.
Oh,
but
so
he
he
didn't
just
try to
was-
stop anything. But so I do get people that don't believe in things and
Mm-hmm.
they want me to prove it. I'm not here to prove anything.
We have a question on Facebook Live that says, from Brad, does there have to be specific happenings for you to investigate, or have you gone into a location with little activity?
I have gone into it. So for me, I can actually pull energy from anywhere. And because for me, everybody has people, things, energies with them. So I will go into a home and I can kind of see what's going on in that home because everywhere has energy, everywhere has something in their home, around them, just in the space. So yes, I have done that.
That was from Brad. That wasn't my question.
Yeah,
That was from Brad.
yeah.
Thank you, Brett. Hope we answered your question, Brett. So, what are your beliefs on well, I'm sorry. Here, just quick. If you sage before an investigation, will the spirits still try to communicate?
That does put up a barrier. I have done both ways just to try it and see what's going on. So when you're saging, it's actually putting up a barrier so they can't come through. Now, if it's positive energy, they can still come through. But when you're saging, you're getting rid of the negative energy. So it does create that barrier so they don't come through as easily.
Would they be able to come back eventually, or?
They can because it's so. as I was doing, I think Jay, when he was having his house, when we were doing his stuff, then just we would get rid of it. But if you keep thinking of it and you keep talking about it, you can bring those back.
It's that damn demon, I tell you.
Yeah,
I know
because you're opening the door for it to come back in. The more you think about it and talk about it. So for me, if I've dealt with something and then I think about that, I repeat that they're not allowed to come back in.
Have you ever had to have a case like that where you had to come back because something came back into the home, or usually
At Jay's. Yeah, because he was still thinking about it,
Yeah.
you know, and it was stuff, and it was finally got him to the point to where he understood what he needed to do, and using my sage spray kept it around, so that way he was able to keep that barrier going, and then they didn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many things where like people try to. How do you feel about that? And that would be another question: is people trying to cleanse their own house?
So if you're there doing it yourself and you're feeling all of these energies, your energy is still there. So sometimes it's easier to bring that outside person in that could be a little bit stronger, and they just have different energies, and to be able to control it and be able to remove what is there. So, but the thing is, whenever I'm doing a house cleansing, I get the people involved, so their energies are still there and they're stronger. And whenever you're funny.
I was like, I didn't like the angle on my Facebook Live. I apologize. I must shorten myself.
Okay.
Hi.
So Jeff would like to know if ghosts can have sex.
Okay, somebody would ask that one.
Especially on this show. They wanted to know if ghosts could have sex.
Okay, so yes. So whenever Jay knows about this, whenever I first started doing my show, I was helping an elderly lady who was having issues, and I started having some very vivid dreams. And I would wake up in the moment, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And it was somebody that was finally about 3 nights in a row. I wake up with this going on and having an orgasm. And I wake up to it, and it's like, okay. So, and then it was like all of a sudden I hear this voice saying, come with me. So I called my client and immediately told her that I need to talk to her because suicide's not the way to go.
Oh, wow.
And she started crying. So what it was is with me clearing her house, this entity was coming to me. He had been working on her, trying to get her to kill herself.
Oh, man.
So, and then with me connecting with her, that's what he was trying to come through me, but he was also doing sexual activity with her too. And that's where she was having a hard time with it because of course she's an elderly woman and didn't know what to do, you know. So I cleared it, and then apparently he
Sounds
just
like she knew what to do.
well, she didn't. But he decided to come home with me. So yes, they can have sex. Anything. Hey, you asked.
Wait a minute. So he left her and went home with you?
He came
and
home
ghosts
with
can
me.
have sex? Mary?
You're coming home with me. That's the way it's going
It was
down.
not by choice. I was asleep.
Damn it.
Say, oops.
I have another question
Okay.
on Facebook Live. They said, or the question is they're laughing over here right now on Facebook Live. They're dying. Have you ever had to cleanse astral vampires?
I have not yet, but I've heard of them.
Give me a basis on astral vampires.
Well, for me, it's like I said, I'm self-taught with everything, so I don't know all the terminologies. But for me, astral is like astral traveling. The vampires is just sucking the energy from you, and people can do that from a distance, and it's like astral traveling and just sucking the energy from you while they're astral traveling. That's the way I see it.
Is there a way to protect yourself from that, or I mean, you're sleeping, so you really can't.
So that's where I learn whenever I'm sleeping. I put my protection around me as I'm going to sleep because I start at my toes and work the way up just like I do whenever I'm doing the chakra sessions.
Okay.
I put the white light of protection around myself, but I also have crystals and dream catchers. My room really could be a store for crystals because I have them all over the place.
Do you recommend any type of a specific crystal?
It really depends on the person.
Just whatever you're basically like drawn to?
For me, it's rose quartz, but I also like a lot of hematite, but I also do black tourmaline. And then a clear crystal quartz it's kind of like a master of all of them. So the clear crystal is one that I recommend to most people.
What do you feel about pineapple quartz?
I've not had that one.
That's the one I have, the big one
The
I
big
got.
one? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's a pineapple quartz. That's
Okay.
what I was like.
I'd like to see it. See if it has energy. So do you clear it?
You know what? I don't. No, I do. I take that back. I do. I'm a lazy clearer. You know, it's whenever I like
you
I'll tell
think
you what
about
I mean. Like I know the full moon comes out, and then like if I find out that the full moon's coming out, then I'm like, oh, the pineapple quartz. I should go set that out.
Yes.
And but I'm lazy about it. It's just when I ever hear about a full moon and a full
And
moon.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So what the crystals do is actually take the negative energies from around you. And have you ever had a crystal that's just sitting there crack?
I actually have had that one time. There was this crystal that I got from the shop, and it was supposed to take away like some type of energy. It was like a black and red. I can't remember. And then I was just holding on to it, and it just like snapped in my hand.
Okay, so what
Like
that
in
means
half.
is the crystal took that negative energy into the crystal, and it took it from you.
Hi, Sharon. Sharon's on.
Hey, Sharon. So I told your story.
Oh, that was Sharon's story.
I think that Sharon Kunkel.
Oh
Or
no,
is there
this
a
is
different- okay, so it's a different one.
for Goli Jen's mom.
Oh, Farnoli. Okay,
Yeah,
hi,
Farnoli,
Sharon.
yeah.
There's too many Sharons.
Tracy says, there we go. Like I said, right now we have Marilyn Bass here with me live on World Ghost Radio. And we are talking about some very interesting subjects here as far as energy works. So if you guys have any questions,
Move on.
you could ask us. So let's get back to the show. She's all love you guys. We love you too.
We love you too,
We
Sharon.
love you too. Where would you like to like investigate? I know like you've done investigations before, but do you have like any type of like dream place to go to that you would like?
Does it have to be a specific place, or can it be? Because I want to go to Ireland.
Ireland.
I want to go and see all of the castles and just feel all the energy there and just see what's going on.
I don't know why, but I feel like the UK
Yes,
is way more haunted than the US.
absolutely.
I watch videos all the time from the UK, and they just have like this crazy stuff that I've seen as far as videos.
Oh yeah.
That I can't truly debunk. Like usually I'm a great debunker, you know.
Yeah.
I'll sit like when you get into this field, you know, if you don't know, then you'll see you're like, oh, I could debunk that. Oh, I could debunk that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, oh,
Yeah.
I don't believe that, or this is that.
Well, even as a psychic medium, I do the same thing. It's like, well, you know, they could be doing this, or because so I'm looking
Right.
for things. So that's my first thing is to debunk it before I go there. You know, if I see a shadow, what could have been that shadow?
Right.
You know, so and then that's when I connect with it. So everybody, it's just natural to debunk it.
Yeah, but like overseas, like Ireland,
It's hard.
UK,
Yeah.
those castles out there. Do you have a specific castle that?
Not really.
Not
I
really?
just want to go all over. If I can just go and for a year, I would just love to go all over and just travel.
Man, that's cool. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments real quick. Any comments on that side over there, Jay? None at all? All right. So let's get back to the chakras.
Okay. The safe subject.
What do you feel is like? I remember like we were doing, what was it, seven crystals?
Yes.
7 crystals, and each. Can you tell me a little bit more about each crystal and the purpose of where they're supposed to go and what they're used for? And
Okay.
yeah.
So there are 7 energy. So we have the chakra points is the 7 energy points in our body. We have millions of energy points, but the ones that we really focus on are the root chakra, the sacral, totally forgetting what it was, the solar plexus. We have the heart, we have the throat, we have the third eye, and the crown. So that's where I use the specific crystals for those. And I'm using red jasper for your root. And whenever I'm doing the classes, because I like to lay everybody on their yoga mats and we place the crystals. So I tell everybody on the red jasper, you have to get intimate with that stone, because that's where your the root is it's at the base of your spine. So where you're going to put it is right between your legs, so it's going to be right there. So the energy, the crystal works with your chakra to help that get into alignment. Then when we get to the solar plexus, I use the orange citrine, and then I have the can't even think. I keep forgetting what it is.
It's not like there's a bunch of cameras in front of you and we're on a radio show right now, like
the sacral. And then that's where I use the green abrantine. And so other people use different crystals. Those are the ones that I use, because that's what's drawn for me to help with everybody, because I use my energy as I'm doing it too, because I'm also a Reiki master. So as I do the green, and then
Shokurai.
Hey, if you got it. Yeah. So, and on the heart, I do the rose quartz. Of course, that's for love. So, and then on the throat, I do the lapis lazuli, and that one is the most common for most people to have their chakra is out of alignment and off balance is their throat, because most people don't say what they need to say, or they communicate in the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one that's usually off, and then
It happened to be falling off of me the whole time.
It was bouncing off.
It was bouncing off. I couldn't even keep it on. I talk a lot of trash. That's
and you don't say what you really need
I
to
don't
say.
really say it. Don't say it at all. So.
Yeah, and then for the crown, for the third eye and the crown, just depends on the person. I will switch those up. I use the clear crystal quartz or the purple amethyst, and just depends on, like I said, on the person where those go. And then I also work with the colors as we're getting into the meditation. I just walk you through the process and help you learn to align your chakras. And this is something that you can actually do at home as well, once you learn what each one of the crystals do, and I help you connect with those crystals.
So I guess my question would be, does the crystals absorb the energy, or like, how do the crystals work? Do they absorb that negativity, or are they giving you?
It's both.
Both?
So it's pulling the negative and pushing the positive. So whenever I'm working with you, everything goes in a clockwise. Everything goes in the clockwise position. So it's spinning, and then you're getting that positive energy. You're pulling in the positive and pushing out the negative. So the crystals, with those energies of the crystal, help you connect with that. And you'll start feeling tingling. Once you're connecting, your entire body will start tingling with that.
I would, and that's funny because like I was at the class, and I was laying down, and then I was like, man, I go, okay, this is good. And then I sit up, and the next thing I know, I'm like, whoa. I'm feeling like off balance. I'm all like, what's going on?
It's because of all the energy. And that's what I tell you. Take your time, open your eyes, and sit up slowly, because there's so much energy flowing through your body when you're doing that.
And then I came up, and I was like, oh. Then I just got hit. I was like, what happened?
So, and it does work. And that's that's like I told you, rub your hands together and then kind of pull them apart just a little bit. You feel that friction. That is how the energy from the crystals work with your body.
Man, that is insane.
And what I do with my classes, I hand pick each one of the crystals whenever I'm doing those classes. So each set are hand picked.
So for a specific, for each client, each different
It
client?
can be different for each client.
Okay.
There's one, I have Julie. Hi, Julie, if you're listening.
Hi, Julie. How you doing? Where Ghost Radio?
I have her with clear crystal quartz everywhere because she needs the stronger to help her keep in alignment because she's actually open. She has abilities as well, but she doesn't like to use them because she's afraid of if she tells somebody something wrong, she's going to hurt them. So she chooses not to. Because while you're doing what we're doing, you can hurt people. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking just like with the spiritual, guidance and stuff. She's got all that. But if we tell somebody something wrong, there's, for instance,
so if she's afraid to make the wrong choice,
yes. And so she doesn't want that responsibility. So, but the clear crystal for her are what's stronger to help her alignments to get the energy where it needs to be.
I had another question on, like I said, guys, if you have any questions about energy, astral projecting, astral vampires, ghost sex, can ask me right now on Facebook Live, so that way we could get some questions. I did have a question earlier, which was if you have a crystal in the house, just basically setting somewhere, could that absorb positive and negative energy just being, or does it have to be like used, or?
Well, no, just sitting it in the home, it works, but you have to also clear it because it absorbs energy and it can only hold so much. So it's something that's where I was asking if you clear your crystals, because once it absorbs that negative, it puts out positive energies. But now there are some crystals, if you put them together, they don't work well together. So you can't put them side by side. You have to
team
know,
players. You gotta
exactly. You have to keep them apart.
Oh man.
So, but there's all kinds of crystals that you can work with, and just having it in your home, it helps with the positive. People, just the sunlight will come in. If you have a light crystal like the clear crystal quartz, anything that doesn't have a bright color, you can charge those in the sun.
Yeah, that's why I know there's one that you can charge in the sun. Then there's what is it? Selenite. You don't have to charge at all.
Well, you really do need to clear it because that's what I use. See, that's what I have. One of these right here.
I think there's a couple where you don't need to clear, from my understanding.
Even though they say you don't need to, I recommend that you do anyway, because it's going to hold on to that energy, so you need to release it.
So I heard there's like some crystals, they need to be washed.
Yes.
Okay. And then
I don't know which ones they are.
No, I wasn't gonna ask. I was just like, I know there's different.
The dirty ones.
the dirty ones. The extra dirty ones are the ones you need to clear out.
What I actually do is like my sprays that I make is because I cleanse mine, and it's a cleansing spray, but it's a liquid, so you can set it in that spray if you want to, but you want to be careful on some of them with how porous they are, because it'll ruin the texture and everything.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard like some wash them in like salt and Himalayan salt, and they have like these prayers that they say on I don't know if you know too much about it, but this is what I've heard.
Yes.
And I guess they do mess up the crystals.
It can. So you have to know which ones that you can put in the water, and some of them, if you just put them in there, cleanse it and let them dry. But if you let it sit in the water, you're going to damage the crystal.
The ones that I know this is going to sound weird. The ones that, or did you have a question?
Well, Lisa Marie on Facebook Live.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
When you do the chakra alignments, do you have to do all 7 points, or can you go with just 1 point?
So I recommend doing all 7 points, because if you only work on one, all of the others are look like a snake going through the grass. It's all just kind of all out of whack. So if you only work on one, the others can pull that one back out of alignment. So what I like to do is work on all 7 and then start concentrating on one at a time. So I'll go through the 7, and then like this last class, went through all 7 and then concentrated on the root. And then the next class will be solar plex. And then I'll go from progress from there. But you do want to go ahead and do all of them. But there are some people, once you've got that balance, you can go in and concentrate on just one.
Man, yeah. It's I was in that class, I tell you want to get all 7 in. I wouldn't feel right if I just did one. I'll tell you that much. So I was about to say this question. Debbie already has it, and Lori too. The question is that do you to charge these crystals at night, do they have to be on a full moon, or could they be just any moonlight?
It's better on the full moon, but it can be any moonlight, as long as you're giving that energy back to it. But like I said, if you can get it on the full moon, you're getting the full effect. But if you just set it out, for me, what I do is I'll put mine in a crystal bowl, and I'll put it on in a bed of sea salt, and then I'll put it in the window. A lot of times I'll
So let me
put
get
it
this
outside.
recipe down. You said a crystal bowl,
Crystal bowl,
then sea salt,
sea salt,
and then in the window.
in the window.
I just put mine just in the window, or I'll even take it outside and I'll put it on the roof.
I do it outside as well. So the
But I don't put them in salt or anything.
you don't have to, but
I
for
just
me,
leave
that's
it,
just
yeah.
an added clearing. It just gives it a little bit more energy, because that salt will pull the negative out.
Is that what happens?
Yes.
All right. I was wondering what the salt was like. I know
Salt-
it is used for protection.
Salt is used for protection, but it also pulls the negative out.
So you hear that? The salt pulls the negative out of the crystals. For those that didn't know. I know I got some experts in here, Some of the experts follow me, in Facebook. So, all right. I'm not trying to kill it
Well,
for you.
and that's where everybody has their own methods, and this is what mine are, but other people could have something different. I'm not saying they're wrong, but this is how I do it.
That's how she does it. I like to keep the protection crystals in the windows.
Yes.
Definitely. And I guess Debbie was mentioning that the sun can fade certain crystals.
Yes. If you have a colored crystal like your red jasper, if you put that in the window, it's a really bright red color, and it's going to fade it. So anything with a really pretty color, if you put those, the sun can take away that. So those are the ones that you want to do in the moonlight.
She's all like a crystal Reiki master here.
Yes.
Debbie.
I am too.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're already at 9:50. Man, I'm telling you,
It goes quick.
it goes pretty fast around here. So is there anything you'd like to say? Any information that you'd like to give to the World Ghost Radio? Just any guidance?
Just stay protected.
Stay protected.
Stay protected.
Stay
That's the
protected.
biggest thing. So, but like I said, I also do the house clearings. I do psychic readings, and I do group and individuals and families and stuff like that. So if anybody needs to get a hold of me, you can get me at my website at intuitivetouchworld.com. And then I'm also on Facebook under Mary Lynn Bast.
And that's it.
And you can reach me at 702-569-1240.
You heard it, folks. If you need a house cleansing, if you need guidance, if you need a chakra done, you get a hold of Marilyn Bass, and she will be able to lead you in the right direction and be able to help you out. So that is about it. Of course, you know me. I'm Rocky on World Ghost Radio. And before I go, I want to thank the man, my boss, the owner, the producer for today, the man the Mr. International, whose birthday is this weekend. Is that right, boss?
Sure.
So I want to say thank you to Jay, for helping me out on my show, and doing all the production in the background that you'll see on the other video that I put out. So thanks. And if you guys want to get a hold of me, my new plugs. I just want to take 2 minutes out of the time. I got a new website. It's called paranormalonair.com. Paranormalonair.com. You could also follow us on Instagram. Woo! At PMZ_TV. And it is the TMZ of the paranormal. So be sure to check that out. You could also get me at worldghost.com. I am on Facebook at World Ghost and Paranormal on Air. So you can find me there. If you guys have any more questions. And I just want to say once again, thank you for coming on this show and telling us, giving us a lot of great information,
Well,
Marilyn.
thank you for having me.
Man, it's great. Hopefully, you can come back again and we'll
Anytime,
talk some more.
just let me know.
All right.
I will be here.
All right. And I guess that wraps it up for World Ghost Radio tonight. And always remember, happy haunting, everyone. Take care.